Well, good morning, mountain bike fans. Today I'm headed out to my very first downhill mountain bike race. The bike's dialed, health is good. I feel like I have a really solid plan for the weekend. So I guess it's time to see what this racing stuff is all about. We have about a 4-hour drive over to the track. So hang tight and I'll see you there. Also, it's 24 degrees and snowing. This is going to be interesting. Welcome to Ride Rock Creek, the first stop on the 2025 Downhill Southeast schedule. With 393 racers scheduled to line up this weekend, it's going to be a pretty cool first race experience. It is a little cold today, but fortunately the sun's out. There's no snow, and I've got plenty of warm gear. Today is track walk day. Track walk is in a few hours, so we're gonna get set up, get dressed up, and get ready to go take a look at the track. See you there. All right, friends, it's time for track walk. It's still pretty cold out, so got layers on, got the hat going. I'm gonna take a quick walk up the hill here to the start gate. You can kind of see through the trees, and we'll take a look at the first few corners. Let's go. Here we are at the start gate. They are hanging the artwork for the on-ramp, so I'm gonna skip walking up there right now. We'll take a look at this roll-in ramp. Pretty steep actually to walk down, but it gives you a nice push for sure. And here's our shot down the start ramp. You can see we got a couple options. A lot of people, when I was riding last week, were hitting those rocks to try and cut that corner a little bit. Otherwise we got berm, berm, berm into the first straight section. Now we're about 6 or 7 turns in. You can see the start ramp up there, just barely to the trees. All these turns are really smooth. This is the first little bit of feature we get, just a couple few foot rock ledge that you want to kind of pull up off. Clear this rock if you can and land down in this section. That'll be my goal. And then it takes a couple more turns before we hit a fresh section that's going to be pretty soft in a couple corners. I think probably rut out pretty bad right in through here, and then there's a little gap around the corner that I have not been able to pull for just yet, so we'll see how that goes tomorrow. Here we are 2-3 turns later through the new fresh section that ends right here, and there's a little bit of a gap here. It's only about 15 feet off that log into this little chute. I feel like I need to get that to save a little bit of time, but right around the corner we get an off-camber left. So I might be just fooling myself. We'll have to kind of see how it feels. If I can start holding a little bit better speed around this corner, then that gap will probably make sense. And then we get into really the only significantly technical section of the track. This first rock is really not that big of a deal. This one, you can huck that pretty easily. It's only about 3-4 feet, maybe 4.5, I guess, by the time you come off and land probably down in here. And then this is the one that's gonna potentially cause a little bit of trouble. This is quite big, especially if you come off the left side, which I'm definitely not going to do that. But I think coming right through here will be okay, as long as I don't clip this. Should be able to take that compression and control the corner. And then we got a few more steep berms before a similar kind of multi-rock tech section right around where those riders are walking down there. Right there's the end of that kind of technical section. Right where those riders are standing is probably the hardest part in this whole course, taking that left-hand turn over those rocks. Haven't been able to figure that out yet. Then it comes around to a nice little corner and then pops you off of this log ledge, which is, as far as I can tell, the hardest compression on the course, because you have some speed, but you don't want to send this too far, at least I don't. So you end up kind of coming off and just plopping into a couple of these dents, and it's pretty hard compression every time I did it. A couple times I ended up not being able to control it, went right off into the woods, but the majority of the time I was able to land where I wanted, hold this corner, and then we have basically a straight shot across this off camber until we get to the bridge right down there. And here we are at the bridge. Yes, that is snow. It's quite cold still. And bridge is not really a feature, but does throw a lot of speed into that berm. It's going to be a little chunky. And this is the berm right off that bridge. Takes a sweeping right and comes down what I think is confidently the steepest bit of track on the whole run. It's not that chunky, but you definitely are holding a lot of speed here. And then not much of a berm to deal with, just kind of an off-camber rut. You really need to manage speed through here. And then there are a couple of options to get kind of back up on the ledge here to the left before we take the right and send down through that section with a few more berms. Now we're a good way down the track from that last shot. Everything between here and there is really flowy and pretty smooth, other than a few, wear bumps, whatever. This is the first significant gap on the line. You can see it comes off here, and there's a knuckle right down in here, and that is about 22, 24 feet of a gap. And it goes down about 6 feet, so you can easily roll this, of course, nice and smooth. But if you want to take this at trail speed, it's a pretty decent pull. First several times I rode here, I did not do this. When I finally did, I barely made it. I think I was just a little afraid, tapped the brake a little bit coming in. But if you come full trail speed, give it a little pull. Lander is great, and of course it gives you a ton of speed to run down that pretty straight section until we get to the rock slabs. And after that last gap, which is up there quite a ways, it's really just a kind of a rooty single track, pretty straight shot, couple sweeping corners, nothing too bad. And then it comes into this rock slab bit, which has a couple line choices. I think staying right and coming down the inside is probably the move here. They did rework this corner that the guys are standing in, so it has a berm now. What's up, Axel? Hey, Alan, how you doing? This is the guys I ride with at Windrock, and this corner definitely looks better than it usually does. Pretty muddy normally, and then it sweeps around the corner till we get into the lower section. Now we're about 5 or 6 soft turns in past that rock slab section. This is the first kind of packed in hard berm we get after there, and it goes into another nice supportive berm, and then gets to the second significant gap on this line. This one is about 18 feet, and it drops a good 6 feet. Natural trail speed though, so it feels great when you hit it. It can just be a lot to look at the first time. And this is a pretty long way away, but just above that guy walking right there is that rock ledge that we just shot. You can see that rider's walking up to it right in front of it now. Big sweeping turn down into a hard G out up into this left-hand corner with a little bit of rock, but high line through here is what I've been taking. Pretty smooth. It's just lose a little speed on that corner, and then we're almost to the finish line. And here we are right before the finish line. This last big gap right here down to that knuckle is about 21 feet. Goes down about 5 feet, 6 feet maybe. This is the only big feature on this line that I have not hit yet. And then there's a little double right before you come up where those guys are standing on the finish line jump for the Cat 2-3 on the left there. So that's the track walk. Like this track quite a bit. That's definitely a challenge for me. I'm glad I came last week to ride it. It would have been too much for me to process in one 4-hour practice slot. And I also have a couple things I need to figure out yet. So really glad I had that extra time. But I do think the difficulty and the fun factor are pretty much ideal for the Cat 2-3 riders. It'll definitely push some folks. It's pushing me. But it's going to be a pretty fun race, I think. We'll see how practice goes tomorrow. Welcome back, everyone. Practice day number 2. Yesterday's practice was kind of rough. They had almost 3 days of hard freeze, and then it thawed pretty much during practice. So
Didn't really have much grip. Some of the faster bits were pretty slimy. So I'm really hoping conditions are going to be better today. Let's go check it out.
All right, let's see how the track's doing today. Hopefully a little drier, we'll have to see. Yeah, still a little greasy there. Not too bad though.
So right about here, we're just kind of like...
I have to work on that later. I gotta get that high line. All right, race day, first practice lap. I think we're right in the middle of the freeze thaw process, so hopefully won't be too greasy. And this is looking a little better than yesterday. Had no luck with the GoPro on yesterday's runs. It kept shutting off, telling me my battery was low. And then of course I had 60 to 90% battery. But I got a fresh one in. Hopefully we'll finally get a full run of a practice lap here. Greasy corner.
Thanks, man.
All right, not too bad. Slow in those corners, but that's where I feel comfortable.
What's that, dragging his right?
Nice, got the high line. Been fighting with that. Now we're into the old tumbleweed bit that they repurposed for this. All right, that's actually drier than yesterday too. Nice. You all right, dude? All right, well that felt pretty good. See if we can finish this thing out. Full pull. Love that drop. Ooh, greasy. Nice. And sprint finish. Sweet. Nice. Solid full pull there. Right, race day, practice lap number 2. Tracked up pretty good last time. See if it holds. Oh, almost slid out there. Oh. Definitely starting to grease up a little.
It's easier to walk up.
Oh, not too bad. Oh, I'm gonna have to pull over here. Definitely catching that guy. But this is my favorite bit of the track, so feel good about restarting here. Yeah, it's starting to loosen up a little bit there. I didn't think I'd catch him, but he might have slowed up to the other guy. Yeah, he's gonna catch him. Hard to judge with so many different categories coming down at once. Man, that's getting greasy too. Be careful with some of those baits. Well, time for a little race recap. Course was actually pretty good, really quite dry. Unfortunately, in my race run, I didn't have a battery in my GoPro, so couldn't get that thing to turn on, or battery was dead. And then one of the soft corners up top, overcooked it and just slid out. So first race, first crash, but I got down safe, a little bit of dirt, no big deal. Just, I guess the biggest frustration is that I won't really know what that level of effort would get in terms of a pace compared to the other riders in my class. So I'm gonna still be a little bit in the dark. But aside from that, the event was really well organized. The track was a lot of fun. It was a really good time. It's kind of a long 4 days, especially if you're not getting great sleep in the hotel. But all in all, great first experience. I'm gonna check out hopefully the next course before the event, see if it's something I can ride. And who knows, maybe we'll do a Downhill Southeast 2025 Stop 2. Until then, have a good one. See you later.